What is up, everybody? Good morning and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to actually do something a little bit different. We're still going to do a spectating video, but it's going to actually be this Hulk. I played with this Hulk. He's one of my good friends and we played a couple ranked games together. He's currently 12-0 in his last 12 games. And that actually took him from like middle diamond to Grandmaster. He's Grandmaster now. I don't play a whole lot of competitive, so I only played a few games with him. But this was one of the cool games that he actually does something really interesting at the end that I didn't even know you could do. So let's get into the replay and just see what he does. I like playing with him too because he's a very, very good Hulk. He gets in the enemy's face. He makes their lives miserable. And I'm not entirely sure what he even does when I'm playing with him. All I know is that I heal him and damage boost him as Mantis, and it goes kind of crazy. So this character is a little bit insane in my opinion. I think he's a great tank, so if you're looking to pick up a tank that can really make the enemy team's life miserable, definitely try out Hulk, and I hope this video kind of helps you get there, get a foundational knowledge of what he does, and I'll try and work through what he's doing, because I do know what he does, I just don't know how he does it exactly. So keeping height here, he wants to see if he can get a pick on a backliner that's a little bit out of position, but we notice that they have a magic, and we are getting dove pretty much immediately, so we're kind of telling him to come back and help deal with her, make sure that he can take a little bit of the pressure off of us here. So we do get a pick on their Bruce, and again we focus the banner, make sure that he goes down fully. Our rocket actually gets demolished by the magic here, but we do kill her. But at this point it's a little bit bad because he also kills me. This is not my best game, I want you all to know that. I die a lot more than I should this game from just getting dove, so you're not going to see anything crazy from my stat line, but this is definitely the focus. The emphasis will be on my good friend Hulk here. As you can see, the Hulk actually kind of saves him there. Hulk's E is like a crowd control, it's an immobilize, so you can't obviously do anything when you're in it, but Hulk is the only person that can break it. Otherwise it will just break on its own. So keep that in mind when you're CCing a target as Hulk. You need to be the one to break it if you are trying to kill the target, otherwise you are kind of blocking damage for them. So if anyone else is attacking the target while they are CC'd by Hulk's thing, they will not take any damage, and that's not going to be very good, especially if you're trying to. He still ends up dying there, but it's okay. So as you can see, the enemy team got a really good early push. They took the first point pretty easily. He's just trying to get a little bit of cheeky damage here, get his ult charge. Notices a couple people push up a little bit, so he tries to get on this Mantis and just just hold down left click. There we go. It is important to note too that his jump, you can see that he's holding his jump here, and I believe you can hold it down while you're pressing other abilities as well, so you can kind of keep that meter charged while he's auto-attacking, as you can see he does there. The Psylocke ults, and I counter-ult the Psylocke ult just because I'm not having it, but then I do get solo Iron Man ulted, which is not my favorite thing in the world, but that's okay. We're able to get a little bit more counter pressure, and the Bucky goes in and is able to kill their Mantis, so we get a little bit of breathing room here. And right here, he's just kind of looking for picks, jumping around. The jump that Hulk has, where you hold it down and you see him leaping around the map, doesn't have a cooldown. So the only cooldown is effectively just the time it takes to charge it up. So we know that they still have a magic as well, and we are trying to communicate that to him just to make sure that he plays a little bit back. We can't go full dive here. Our rocket is once again dead to magic, and this is where I'm just having trouble healing the Groot. The Groot goes down, having trouble healing, and I'm definitely letting him know that, so he ults just to make sure that he buys a little bit more time. The magic absolutely demolishes us, myself included, and he has to back up just a little bit and go back into Hulk form just to live, shields up, and leaps out of there. This might not be a great showcase game. You might wonder, why would you even showcase this game, but it was a case of never back down, never what. This game it looks like it's going horribly, and we kind of both know that, but we both definitely want our ranked points, or LP, or whatever you want to call it, and ain't no way we're giving up, don't you worry. So he gets on the Mantis here. As you can see, Hulk does some pretty good damage, especially on healers that lack any sort of self-healing. So he just kind of sits on her and, like, what, 6 autos, and she's gonzo. So Hulk is definitely a character that he usually plays pretty pick heavy, or he'll kind of figure out what the team needs. He tries to E the Dark Child there, but we don't get that. And then I believe this Dark Child does a ton of damage to us. But I think I ult. I do ult, yes. I do ult the Dark Child just so that we don't all get wiped there. But we're still taking a ton of damage. He's just focusing on playing with the team and frontlining as opposed to diving in because we need him back here. Tries to soak some damage with the Psylocke ult, but I end up going down again. This part of the game too, our healer switches to tank, which is definitely not the solution that we wanted. So we are telling him to get either back on healer or trying to get someone else to switch to healer. And so one of our DPS switches to healer. So now we have a Cloak and Dagger and a Mantis and 3 tanks and then an Iron Man, which not a traditional comp. I don't know. It was more panicked in the moment because we were like, we are getting absolutely run down and we need to change something, and 3 tanks is not doing it. So, and then our Rocket switches off of tank to Bucky, which is, I guess, better because now we have 2 DPS, but we've lost a lot of ground for that and a good amount of ult charge with it. So it's at this point we're like, okay, we actually have a team comp now. We're doing okay. He charges up his leap preemptively, and he pops his ult in the air, so when he lands, he's already Mega Hulk. Basically spams his abilities here. Really gets on the enemy's backline here, and ends up getting a 3-piece pretty much just with Hulk's right click. His right click does a ton of damage, so definitely make sure that you are spamming that when you are in your Mega Hulk form. The cooldown is reduced pretty significantly, I believe. So, and again, just jumping around, making himself a harder target to hit, jumping in, jumping out, making the enemy think that you are diving in on them, all that good stuff. So right now we have 1 ult and they have 4. We're pretty sure that we are going to lose this next fight, but still just trying to charge our ults up, get some good damage. I'm also trying to damage boost him when he's going in, so as Mantis I'm looking for opportunities when he is going to go in, or if he's communicating to me that he's going to go in, make sure that I have a healing orb and a damage orb on him. We let him know that the magic is coming into our backline, and so he backs up to help us and create that space that we need between the enemy team and us. They do Psylocke ult, and our Iron Man returns ult as well. They Hulk ult. So we are going to get absolutely demolished here. Me and the Bucky get destroyed, and he gets kind of zoned off by this Hulk here. Luckily, he is able to survive, and we are kind of able to actually keep the point here. Despite them actually blowing pretty much everything. I did mention that they had 4 ults, and they have used pretty much all of those. So we're telling them to get on this magic. I sleep her, and we are able to get the takedown on her. So our backline is now much, much safer, and he's able to exert some pressure here. Make sure that we get the kill on the Bruce, because it's a pretty big stagger. And then he tries to jump in. That Groot wall is kind of annoying, but we tell him that we are kind of good to go. And he's going to create a little bit more space for us here and step up. He does jump back for Dark Child since he doesn't have shift, and I do ult the Dark Child ult just so that we can stay a little bit safe. She's not able to out DPS Mantis ult, and we do get the KO on her. So this round is going pretty well, even though we started off really, really rough. Something else to note is that if you play Hulk, make sure that you have an Iron Man on your team. The Iron Man Hulk team up does so much damage. This is where he gets a crazy, he just sits here and left clicks, and I'm damage boosting him and he's left clicking, and there's not much to it. So he's just able to run down enemy teams when they don't have any defensive ults, or he's able to get on their healer really, really early. And there we go, just running around on Hulk. To someone who hasn't played Hulk before, it probably doesn't look like he's doing very much at all, but it's really just, you are a very, very tanky character. So whether that be standing in front of your team, whether that's diving in and using a little bit more of your damage, just make sure that you are, if you're on comms, it's especially nice because you can have that communicated to you, and you can do exactly what your teammate needs. He does have this rule where he kind of doesn't go out of the main door in most maps. That's just not something that he enjoys doing. So as you can see, he is leaping over here, trying to break through some of the terrain. make a little bit of space because we're still all running up to the point, and Groot is tanking for us pretty well. So immediately he jumps over here on the Strange, tries to get the focus over on the right here, pull a little bit of damage away from that choke and towards him, so that we're able to step up just a little bit. Unfortunately, our Iron Man does die, so we are sorely lacking damage in this exchange, and I actually died to Penny Mines because I'm a moron. That was... yeah, if you find this replay and you watch it, you will see that I see 3 Penny Mines, and I'm like, I can walk over those and survive, and I don't. So, terrible idea. So our first push is not super good, but he's in Bruce form, using his little pea shooter thing, and just trying to charge back his ult so that he can turn back into Hulk. Their Hela has high ground on us here, which I don't even think we called out or anything like that. But we are just kind of waiting for our time, waiting for ults where we can blow everything and just get into the point, because their Loki, Strange, and Penny setup is very, very strong. Our Groot goes down, so now I'm kind of telling everyone just like we need to fully reset. We just need to back up. We can't commit anything here until we have all 6 people, because we are just going to die. Our Cloak and Dagger commits ult, and so he knows that if he fights in the smoke here, fights in that healing over time, he should be pretty safe. We do end up getting a KO on the Doctor Strange, but their Jeff gets an ult as well, and then they do double Jeff ult here. Their Loki turns into the Jeff, and their 1 Jeff ults as well. So they throw 2 of us off the map, and that is pretty annoying because we had a pretty good push going there. I ulted as well, and the Cloak and Dagger ulted, but we still have Scarlet Witch ult. We still have Groot ult, and we still have his ult, so all hope is not lost. And the mental of this game the whole time was pretty mediocre, I would say. We were not feeling super confident, but we definitely were just trying to... And again, he's charging up his leap and using his ult in midair so that when he lands, he is fully transformed, and he doesn't have to do that animation in front of everybody. Using his right click whenever it's up, and absolutely clapping that... Yep, that Jeff just got clapped between 2 monstrous green hands. Good lord. And there we go. That's our quad, and just like that, we have the first point from a game that was not going super well. A lot of people just think Hulk's ult is a big damage or a big health cooldown, just a big body cooldown, but he can do a ton of damage with his ult as well. He manages to live there, and we are down to 60 seconds, so we are definitely down to the wire on this one, and they just Strange portaled back into point. He does actually kind of live forever here. Never mind, this is not the clip where he lives forever. False. He does not live forever. He gets kind of demolished. Which is unfortunate, where it's a little bit of a bad stagger, because 4 of us are up, and then he is all the way back in spawn with our Scarlet Witch. But it is okay. I don't know why that animation glitched out. He was doing something there, I promise. Alright, getting right back into it. We have 25 seconds left on the clock, and we are nowhere close. Well, we have 1 more tick of the point to take, but the Doctor Strange drops low. We're not able to finish him off, but our Cloak and Dagger ults, so he knows that if he fights in the smoke, he will get plenty of healing on point. And we are able to get a KO. He gets out, we see this Hela ult, and so he's looking to see if he can get up and do a little bit of damage to her, but instead opts to focus on the people on the point. Me, the Cloak and Dagger, and the Scarlet Witch actually do go down here, and he is Mega Hulk versus regular Hulk on point, which is not great. So Iron Man lands a kill on the Hulk, and he gets turned into Bruce form. And this is where we are in overtime, and he lives for an eternity, I believe. I don't know how he's still alive. He's on 40 HP there, and he's just jumping around and holding overtime while the rest of us run back. It's at this point, I'm kind of like, GG, and he's like, no, keep fighting, keep fighting. He's down to 30 health, 28 HP, and he's able to farm his Hulk ult back, Hulk out, dodge the Jeff ult, kill the Loki, and suddenly we are kind of right back in this thing. The rest of our team gets back to the point, as is he, and we are still sitting on this point, and we end up getting it, which is very, very good for us. And now we're back at 2 minutes and 17 seconds. This is where we kind of shift the momentum a little bit. So now we're feeling pretty confident. We're all hyped that we got the point when we really, really shouldn't have. and he was an absolute hero, just jumping around as this small to hit, hard to hit Bruce target. He hulks out here, farms his ult back for the second time, shields up, jumps in, gets some clap damage, and this is where we will ult to keep the momentum. Pretty much goes for the back line, kills the Psylocke. Pretty good. We're pretty confident that he can keep going here, so I tell him to just go crazy, give us some more space, and he does that, pushes the enemy team off of the payload so we can have a couple people standing on it and move it a little bit faster than we ordinarily would. So there is this annoying Jeff that's on the payload. He claps him again. Love to see it. And we are just pushing this payload, making sure that I'm damage boosting the Iron Man as much as possible so that he can do his thing. And now we have a pretty crazy stagger on the enemy team, so he knows that he is not fighting all of them at the same time. So when he dives in, he's a little bit safer. Dives in, opts to come back out and push this, guarantee that we get this second point, because if we get this second checkpoint, then we are suddenly feeling much more confident. The Psylocke ults, I counter the ult with mine. I'm just not having it. Absolutely not. It's at this. I really don't want to get down to the last possible second like we did last point. So I try and make sure that everyone stays alive so that we can keep the momentum up. The Hela ult's above us, so we are trying to stay a little bit more under this bridge. Our Cloak and Dagger falls, but so does their Strange. So he's just holding down his left click, just bonking everyone that gets close to point so that we can keep pushing this, and we do get the second checkpoint there. He jumps in, again, starting to create a little bit more space. When you're on offense with this character, definitely create a little bit more space. It's something that he does really, really well. So we definitely want to make sure that that is something that we're doing, making sure that his whole team is basically able to just sit on the payload and push it at this point and not really worry about anything. He jumps up to height here, which is something I don't see a lot of Hulks do. We get Eye of Agamotto'd, but that is okay because we have Cloak and Dagger ult running, so we are definitely getting topped off. They portal behind us, and they're calling it out, but he just kind of claps into it and ignores it, and then starts creating a little bit more space up in front. Going back in over here, making sure that the Psylocke feels a little bit more of the pressure, and then jumps back to us. I go down here like a moron, but that's okay. That one was entirely on me, just kind of not realizing where my tanks were. I didn't realize that he was that far back, and, you know. We end up getting pretty much wiped here. Our Iron Man, our Groot, and our Scarlet Witch go down. So, but that is okay. We still have 45 seconds. We know we still have one more push to make this happen. And we don't even have to get all the way to the end checkpoint. We just have to get further than the enemy team. As you can see, it is 2-2. We need 30 more meters to get the victory. He jumps up here and starts looking for a flank because he knows that having high ground in this situation is pretty good. Jumps onto the point, gets onto the Hela in the backline, and you can see pretty much the immediate effects. The backline starts backing up. This gives us a ton of space. The Iron Man is able to single out their tanks, and we get a double kill on their tanks as well as their Jeff. I commit ult here to just live Hela. I'm like, stay in there, everyone stay in there, keep the pressure, push up, so that Hela, you know, I unfortunately don't have ult for Psylocke ult though, but she only kills me here, which is very, very good. So Iron Man gets another kill, and this is where he kind of makes a game-winning play. So we're sitting here, it is in overtime, so we know we have to stay on the point the entire time. Their Loki steals ult and their Scarlet Witch ults, but he gets his left shift at the last possible second and left shifts to block the Scarlet Witch ult against himself and Groot. If you didn't know, Hulk's shield, it shields him for 250 and any nearby allies for, I believe, 100, I think. But it also blocks the first thing to hit them if it's an instant. So you can save Hulk's shift to block an entire one-shot Scarlet Witch ult, which he does there, and it ends up winning us the game. He gets the well-deserved MVP and another 27 or something like that ranked points. As you can see, he does a good 16,000 damage, blocks 41k, gets the quad, 37 elims. He plays fantastic there, and once again, he carries my sorry ass. So I hope this was a helpful spectating video. I hope you learned something, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.